All right. So there's a myth that PropTech is just about buying and selling properties, and it's not, right? PropTech's being used in a very broad sense, and it's much more than just online property listings or real estate transactions. Whilst platforms like Zillow, realtor.com, and Redfin are well known for property buying and selling, PropTech encompasses a wide range of technologies across the entire property life cycle. And I mean, I was just talking to you about Zillow and how their back end is working. It's insane the metrics they have on everything, right? And they're getting sued left and right now, like all these companies are going to, because they're all playing in the gray a little bit when it comes to mixing their mortgage company with their lead generation and and they're probably going to add title. And all of them know that being a real estate brokerage is a horrendous idea. So let's do everything but be the brokerage, right? Um, and that's why, Redfin just sold to Rocket Mortgage, right? And Realtor.com is creating their own back end similar to Zillow's because they realized the model they have now doesn't work. Um, but all of these companies are playing this game, and there's so many statistics out there and metrics that it's easy for them to figure out where this is all going, right? Um, so uh, one of the main things, and I think one of the big things people are doing and how they're using technology is in smart building technologies, right? Uh, we have one of our buildings out in Pittsburgh, and it's in a dicey area. So we have cameras all around the building, and our fire escape is, like rigged to a camera, and our all of our external lighting is like timed, and we have fingerprint scanners at the door. Like, you have to get super creative to keep people that you don't want in your building outside of your buildings. The technology allows that. Back in the day, what did people used to do for stuff like that? They would have a tenant who is kind of like a live-in landlord, and they would say, "Hey, half the rent if you make sure that nobody comes into the building that shouldn't be here." You have ways around that now with technology, right? Not that the living tenant's not a bad idea still. It's a good idea if you can get it, right? Um, so then there's property management software. For our property management company, we're using the back end software. It literally, like, one of the things my partner was telling me is like all of the bills that go into the system, like everything the tenants upload, everything that's sent to the landlords, any bills from vendors, it's all scanned with AI and thrown into their back end software for accounting. So like they're literally scanning all the paperwork so that she doesn't have to go in and manually upload everything and type things in. And that's another way that, they're using technology in property management. And then there's construction technology. And I mean, the construction technology is getting pretty insane. And there's apps you can go in now and scan a room and ask it for designs on that room and ask it like their exact dimensions. And it's getting pretty wild. Um, and then real estate fintech for digital mortgages and investments. And this is where, like, even the company we're with, Real, they're a fintech company. They are taking all their back end money that's running through the agents' commissions and everything. They created a bank out of it, and they're using that to fund investments for their agents, like loans, lines of credits, things of that nature. Companies getting smart because it's not just about the real estate anymore, right? Um, it's about the stock. It's about, building the company. Starbucks, one of the things Starbucks has that makes them super powerful is they are a fintech company. All that Starbucks cash that nobody uses, Starbucks has a couple $1 billion in Starbucks cash on their apps that nobody's using, that they're just cleaning up interest on, right? And they're using to reinvest. People think they're a coffee company. They're not. They're a bank. Starbucks is a bank, right? So like this is the stuff that companies are picking up on and realizing we're not just this. This service is all of that, right? And just like Burger King is not, or McDonald's is not a burger company, it's a real estate company. Um, Starbucks isn't a coffee company, it's a bank, right? Uh, you know, Bur- McDonald's only makes like 50 cents profit on every burger sold. They make the majority of their profit on Coca-Cola and fries. That's where a lot of their profits come in. Yeah. So they get the burger, they keep the burger cheap to get you in the door, and they sell you all the other stuff, right? And then they're getting franchisees to set up these locations on the best corners in every town. And now they own all that real estate, right? So it's a similar model when it comes to all of these companies looking at what they have, which is a good brand, and then building around it with uh, technology to improve profits and diversify, right? So innovations like AI-powered analytics, blockchain-based property transactions, and sustainability-focused green buildings technologies that are also central to PropTech's growth. They're they're targeting. I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors about this because we have that title company, but they are hoping to be able to do real estate sales through blockchain chain-based technology because they're claiming it's safer than title companies and recording deeds. And I would pay really, really close attention to that because in the next 10 years or so, that might be a massive part of what happens in real estate transactions. So, and to be honest with you, I don't even know what the blockchain is. Like, I get it, I hear about it, but if you ask me to explain this, I would be like, no, like I everyone tells me it's great. I can't touch it, so I don't understand it. Um, so that's but I mean the current administration is huge into it. And if there's this much money being thrown behind it, you gotta pay attention, right? Myth number two, prop tech will replace real estate professionals. And this is obviously near and dear to my heart, but the reality is I don't think so, right? Who knows, but I don't think so. Um, Prop tech is more about enhancing the roles of real estate agents, property managers, and other professionals rather than replacing them. And I agree. Technology tools aim to streamline tasks such as automating paperwork, providing data analytics, and improving communications between parties, making professionals more efficient. And I'm seeing this, like, again, the company we're with, by the end of this year, if not early next year, I'll be able to go into Leo, which is Real's proprietary version of ChatGPT, and I'll be able to say, I want to write an offer for Chris on 123 Main Street. This is the amount I want to write the offer for. These are the terms. Give it all the information it needs to fill out the paperwork for me, and then it'll send it to me to review it. And when I approve it, it'll send it out for signature. That's coming. Like they're back and they're working on that right now. Other companies are too, but that stuff's coming. Which think about it. Like I would show you four homes and I would go show somebody else four properties. And if I'm a individual agent that can't afford an assistant, then I have to wait till I get home that night or or I get a break to stop and write that offer up. Even with yeah, me 20 minutes because I'm fast, right? But if you're brand new, hour and a half. I mean, if you're probably, 30 to 40 minutes, like you have to it's kind of all over the place. Like you have to go into, right? You have to pull the documents like the seller's disclosure, the lead paint disclosure, an estimate of closing costs. And you have to put all that into your zip forms or your DocuSign. And then you have to go into there and pick all the right documents and fill all them out. Most of it's kind of pre-filled, but you still have to put in the specifics about that property. And then you have to go through just make sure you don't miss anything. So if you're new, it takes a while. If you're, I can write an offer in 20 minutes because I just like zoom through it. But even for me, 20 minutes is a lot of time. Like I could have been showing you another property or finding you another deal or negotiating an actual issue versus doing paperwork, right? So that's just on the agent side. On the property manager side, um, if you're sitting there doing leases versus calling tenants or applicants back for your landlord's properties, you're wasting time and money, right? You should be talking to the people versus filling out paperwork, right? That's another thing with property management side. If you're sitting there going through your books versus having AI do it, you're potentially losing a great tenant for your landlord because you don't have time to call them back, right? Um, and we're seeing it already. It is streamlining a ton of what we do. It's making us do things much quicker. I mean, our write-ups for our listings. Why in the world would I used to spend hours on write-ups, hours, like literally trying to perfect this thing and making sure my grammar was correct. And now Zillow is plugged into ChatGPT. 82% of consumers are using AI to search for homes now. So unless I want to learn what specifically AI is looking for in searches for homes, why wouldn't I just ask the AI? Right? So I go into chat, or my listing coordinator does, and we have a prompt. It's like, you're a real estate agent, you're listing a home in this market. Here are the details of the house. Here are some things we want to specify about it. Make this write up as searchable as possible on AI platforms. And in seconds, we have a write up, right? Less than 5 minutes, an hour or two, easy, like easy. If I didn't, a million times better. Like not even close. Like this is technology using the combined knowledge of all the writers in the world and the way algorithms work to do a write-up versus me, like barely got through English class, right? So like this is and your average realtor, no offense, we're not exactly, Shakespearean. So like I thought my write-ups were great before. This is a whole other platform. And it's giving my client what they want, which is a more searchable property, right? All you care about is views, right? So um everything we do now, I run through chat. Like I'll say to chat, I'm putting this post on social media, please make it as searchable as possible, right? Like if that's where people are searching, ask that to do the work for you, right? Because it's going to match up, right? Um, or I could spend the next 6 months trying to learn how algorithms work, and then it's going to change again, and then I'm gonna have to learn it again, right? So real estate still relies heavily on personal relationships, marketing knowledge, and human insight, especially when handling large emotional investments like buying a home or managing tenant relationships. And I can't agree more. Like it's true. The largest part of what I do is the emotional aspect, right? Like, I had two sellers on the phone yelling at one of my agents today because it's our listing and it's a 9 unit building in like Pennsburg or something. And in the buyer's lender found that according to the deed in 1940 something, this used to be a gas station, and they ordered a secondary inspection to see if there's still an underground tank. And of course, the first level of inspection came back that it's highly likely. So now they're ordering a second level, and the seller is losing it at us. And I'm like, hold on, like, let me spell this out for you. And they're like, well, when we bought it in the 90s, this was never a thing. And I'm like, times have changed, a lot more information's out there. Um, and no AI is handling that conversation, right? Like that's I think we would fry an AI having that conversation I had today, like, right? So there's a lot of this that you cannot pawn off to AI and that's fine. Like that's what human interaction's for. But you have a unruly tenant who doesn't see eye to eye with their landlord. How often does that happen, right? Is AI handling that? No, right? So these are things that we have to understand will always be there. But if we use it correctly, it makes us more efficient at handling all of these problems, right? So instead of being replaced, professionals can leverage technology to provide better service, make more informed decisions and handle complex transactions more efficiently. And how you can apply this to like investing, tell you the way I applied it to like a regular listing recently was I have a client, she was referred to me by her son. I sold her son a house in Downingtown, and I just sold her house in northern Wilmington. She lives in Pipersville, which is Bucks County. I don't know much about Pipersville. I've maybe driven through it once in my life, right? And she wants me to sell her house in Pipersville. Okay, I can sell real estate anywhere. But I could have spent 3 hours researching Pipersville. Instead, I went on ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, chat, I'm going to go list this house in Pipersville. I know what it's worth because I already did the comps, but here's the address. Can you tell me some more detail about this property? Like what this area? What should I know? And it starts going into like, there's been two permits pulled to build a shopping center a mile and a half away from the subject location. I mean, it is pulling public records. It's doing all of this homework. It tells me about the farmland that used to be there before the houses were built. And I'm reading this and I'm like, I know more about this house than she does now,
Yeah.
you know? And like within seconds, right? So now I'm applying that to properties I'm investing in, right? If I'm looking in an area and I'm saying, man, I don't know the city of Sharon, PA, not Sharon Hill. There's a building that came up in the city of Sharon, PA today. It's like a 67 unit building. The first thing I'm doing is going to chat and saying, what do I need to know about Sharon, PA? Right? Instead of me trying to look at Wikipedia and let it compile all the correct information and give me an informed report, not me spending hours plugging around on different websites to just come up with something I would have found out in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm using this technology to leverage my decision making, right? And also educate me on areas I didn't know about, right? Myth number three, prop tech is only for big companies and investors. And to go back to that for a second, if you're reviewing a lease or legal documentation or anything, the first thing I'm doing is putting in chat and asking it to pull out any discrepancies for me.
How do you put it in check?
You just attach it like a PDF and you say, hey, chat, like I have a LLC I'm creating with some partners right now, and I put it in chat like, hey, chat, are there things that don't align with this LLC and our brokerage's independent contractor agreement? And within seconds, it's telling me where there might be discrepancies. I would have paid a lawyer $600 an hour, and I would have found out 3 weeks later what I found out in 2 minutes,
Yeah.
right? These are the things like it's saving you people time and money by just making you more efficient. And uh yeah. So reality, while large property developers, real estate firms, and institutional investors may be early adopters of PropTech, many solutions are designed for individuals and small businesses, right? So landlords with small portfolios can use management platforms like Buildium or Tenant Cloud or streamline operations, right? And uh, Rent Ready is another one. Like these property management softwares that weren't available to your average landlord are now because of how accessible they are, right? Crowdfunding platforms like Fundrise and Realty Mogul and tokenization have made real estate investments more accessible every day to everyday investors by lowering barriers to entry. So just like anything, there's funds out there online that you can go and borrow from that are using technology to evaluate certain deals, evaluate certain investors, come up with decisions if they're a good or a wise investment. They're not that tough. I mean, it is local money cheaper and easier, yes. Um, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I've never tried one of them. Um, I know people use them. I'd be surprised if the fees aren't absurd. Yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of these like that's where the software is making its money, right? Like the the company or the lender is making their money on the interest, but the software is going to make the money on their fees, right? So yeah, I think they would tack on quite a bit. Smart home technologies are being adapted by individual homeowners and tenants to improve energy efficiency, security, and convenience without needing large capital investments. Like I said earlier, these big buildings, you have a lot of common area utilities, maintenance, heat, especially if you're in the north and you're dealing with a lot of snow and cold weather. Being able to monitor your building's temperature, being able to monitor like what's like changes in the temperature in your common areas is a huge money saver, right? So some key areas of PropTech are smart buildings, so technology-enabled buildings with automations for energy, lighting, and security, real estate platforms, online platforms for buying, selling, and renting properties, property management software, tools for landlords, tenants, and property managers to streamline operations, construction tech, innovations for construction processes, materials, and techniques, and fintech for real estate, digital mortgages, crowdfunding, and blockchain applications. And the real estate platforms for online buying and selling. I mean, a lot of those failed during COVID, right? Like Zillow tried to do it, and all of these other companies were going out and just making offers based on Zestimates and all of that stuff. And it was a total nightmare, right? You can't buy real estate like that. You still need people to walk it, you need still professionals, still need inspectors, still need all the parts. But finding deals like we've, like what's it, Revamp has a technology, and other local investment firms have technologies that you can use, and like uh what's the site? I'll remember in a second, but there's a PropStream. Is it PropStream? Yeah, PropStream is a investor site you can go on. I can find all the foreclosures in Delaware County. I can find all of the uh high equity owners, long-term owners, non-owner occupant properties. Like you could find all of this information using some of these property, like these websites that are created for investors to make investing easier. Back in the day, you'd have to go to the courthouse and pull the records manually, right? So just a little history on prop tech. In the early 2000s, real estate transactions were mostly offline and manual. From 2000 to 2010, the rise of online listings such as Zillow and Rightmove. 2010 to the present, the growth of smart buildings, blockchain, and virtual automation. Future AI-driven real estate platforms, sustainability solutions, and immersive technologies like AR and VR are going to become very common in real estate. Some of the benefits of prop tech are uh, efficiency, reduces time and cost in property transactions and management, transparency, just greater data availability and easier access to information, and improved user experience, enhanced tenants and buyer experience with digital tools, right? And like one of our property management software is the tenant can go in, take a picture of what's going on, upload it to their app, and it goes right to our vendor who sees the picture and can diagnose the problem, right? That's quicker and more efficient than a tenant calling the property manager calling the three different plumbers, them having to go out, look at the problem, figure it out. You're able to and charge you, a fee just to come out, right? So if you're able to use things like this to just speed up and make life easier, it will save you money. Sustainability. Smart tech can help buildings become more energy efficient. Investment opportunities open doors for new investment models like real estate crowdfunding. Some of the major players in prop tech, like we know, Airbnb, WeWork, Zillow, Open Door, and Procore are some of the current ones. And then the future trends in prop tech, obviously artificial intelligence, blockchain, 5G, virtual and augmented reality, and sustainability focus. All right, so I kind of went through this quickly because I wanted to show you some of like the actual practical applications we're using. Um, oh, all right, so this is Chat GPT. Just wanted to show you. So give you an example. All right. So here's a quick uh idea or example of how to use ChatGPT, right? Or you can't see this. Hold on. All right, you see that, right? All right. Now, can everyone on the Zoom see this?
No, we
The,
can see
the
you.
Chat GPT?
No,
Did you say yes or no?
no.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, there you
Yep.
go.
Now we can see
All
you.
right. So, again, AI is a model that you're asking to help you, right? So, you can go in the chat and you start a chat and say, you are an expert in the field of real estate investing, mortgages, and financial strategies uh, to tax reduction for a business. You focus on getting refinanced mortgages from commercial buildings in the state of Pennsylvania. Do you understand so far? Okay. So you're prompting the system for what you want it to be, right? You're so chat says it answers, yes, I am here. From here forward, I will operate as, and it tells you what it's going to operate as because you told it what to operate as, right? So, an expert in real estate investing, a specialist in commercial mortgages and refinances in Pennsylvania, highly knowledgeable in tax reduction strategies for business owners, focused on structuring refinancing deals for commercial properties. Now, you don't even have to be this specific. I just chose to be a little bit more specific for this example, but you can click on the button that it's you talking into it, like you would speak to someone, and just tell it, "Hey, chat, I'm gonna reevaluate a property I own, and I'm thinking about doing a cash out refinance, and I'd like some advice from you on it, right? Here are the statistics on the property. It makes X amount. You could just talk to it. It will pick up all of this, right? But in this case, it answered. All right. So here's an example. All right. As an expert commercial building refinancing, you are helping a client who wants to refinance a building. This building currently has an SBA mortgage of 1.8 million. It was obtained in October 2017. And you give it all the information it needs, right? Great. This is chat. I understand. Here's a summary. Current SBA mortgage, breakdown of everything, gives you everything. It gives you the loan to value. It's doing that calculation for you. Debt service coverage ratio. It did that for you, right? Would you like me to proceed in calculating refinance options, right? Or focus on tax reduction strategies associated with refinance? Again, this is chat asking. Additionally, your client pays approximately this amount of property taxes. Yes, completely understand. Adding in the final picture, annual property tax, 75 grand, include blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now it's asking, would you like me to proceed? Your client would like you to know if you can raise the monthly lease, force the appreciation of the building, right? Yes. Excellent question. This is smart strategic consideration before refinancing. Let's analyze. And it's going to go through and it's going to give you the concept of forced appreciation. Apply the math to the building. So this is chat doing all of this. I didn't tell it how to do all of this, right? It's going to give you the current appraised value based on a 7% cap rate, which is what it looked up to be the cap rate for this area. I didn't tell it, right? Um, Here's what it would appraise for if you raise the rents appropriately based on a 7% cap rate. So it's giving you that. A 3% or $3,000 rent increase could theoretically raise the appraised value about 500,000, assuming the appraiser uses the income approach. This is all chat, right? Practical consideration, lease type and timing, appraisal verification, tenant risk, tax impact. It's going over all of this for me. Then it's asking, after all of this, it's saying, would you like me to run a pro forma refinance scenario showing how much cash out or lower rate your client could achieve before and after a rent increase? Yes, perfect. Let's break it down. This is all information that clients would like reach out to me and I'd like, hey, give me a couple of days to get back to you. Like I have to sit in front of my computer. I really have to run through the math on this. This happened within minutes, right? Of literally just asking some questions. It breaks down everything. It gives you the refinance terms. It even shows you the DSCR, tells you what your tax implications for something like this could be, which typically non-taxable as they are loan proceeds, not income. That's correct. Um, and here's an expert summary. Okay, gives me everything I need to compare and decide what happens if I just change the rent on my building by $3,000 a month, right? That's a quick, practical breakdown of how you can use chat to evaluate a situation. Now, I could go in the chat and this is where it gets a little bit more manual, and this is why manual, and I think this is why investors are still going to heavily uh have to do a lot of things manually. If you're evaluating a multifamily property, usually you need all of the expenses, the income. If that's available to you by the listing broker, great, but usually it isn't. Usually you have to reach out to them. You have to get a lot of this information. Once you have it, you can throw it in here, say run a basic calculation based on these numbers for me. Boom, it gives you everything you need, right? The days of plugging it into a spreadsheet are over, right? Like they are well behind us. Okay. And if you can do this and save a ton of time and make way less mistakes, you're moving faster. Right. So this is just one example um of how you can use technology, right? So oh yeah, this was the example I was looking for. Here's another one I did for client. So I I went through, ran comps on a property. I liked my numbers. I said, okay, let me back them up. So I take the comps from Bright and I upload them as a PDF and the public records. So I say, I'm planning on listing this property for my client. It's a 3-unit building in University City, Philadelphia. The building has many unique characteristics. You can see I typed this out because there's plenty of spelling errors. Driveway with 3 to 4 car parking, which is rare for the area. A detached garage, another rarity. All have central air and separate utilities. The first floor unit is a 2-story, 3-bed, 2-bath, massive unit with access to the rear yard. So I'm giving it information about the property, right? It's thought for 3 minutes and 36 seconds. And then it gives me this report, right? So just to show you what it gives me. Okay, quick take. It's a rare University City triplex, true off street, a detached garage, triplex, 3,300 square feet, the lot size, the zoning, cooling central air taxes, mix use. So it breaks down the property. Then it starts going into neighborhood sales in the last 24 months, looks at the comparables. Now, I didn't have to upload the comparables. I did that to try to be more specific, but it would go and do a search for comparables for you, right? And it breaks down what they sell per square foot, average condition. It gives you the income approach. So based on the income and assume 5% vacancy and credit for that area. Um, Known fix are the taxes. I pulled the taxes from the report I uploaded. Actual as is, it breaks down the value by cap, right? Um, Stabilize gives you the NOI, and then value add depending on everything, right? Investor cheat sheet, so it breaks down like how you can list it cap rate wise. And if you're an owner occupant or house hacker, I didn't ask it to give me a house hacker view, right? It's like, here's what a house hacker would be willing to probably pay for this property, right? And then it gives me pricing strategies. Now it was off for sure, but it gave me a lot of information, right? And this is it's pretty rough on this property. Yeah, I sold him this property, and it's a very rare property for the area. Like it is, it's a twin, 3-story, almost 4-story, uh, 3-unit building with like 4-car parking and a detached garage in University City, Philadelphia. It's a rare property, and the person that owned it before my client owned it for like 30 years. So it's a rare property. This property, if I were to list it, would probably list it at like close to 1 million. Um, that said on the high end, 750. Yeah. Now he paid 750 for it. So maybe 8 years ago it was correct. But and this is where you have to verify. This is why you can't be a realtor and use ChatGPT to comp out your properties. You use it to back up what you already think, or at worst, give you information you didn't know. Eventually, these things will get to the point where it's that good. But again, it's not there in person. It doesn't know the neighborhood. It doesn't like a person who has sold homes in that neighborhood would. Um, but it gave me a lot of information I can use for the write-up, right? And for the property itself. So this is an example of how you shouldn't 100% trust what it says, right? When there's that many variables to consider. Here's an example of a property write-up. So uh, do a property write-up for this property, Darbit, duplex, gives it basic information, and within seconds, it gives us the perfect write-up for this property, right? And this write-up's easily searchable. It'll come up on a lot of, if you're searching for a property on, a multifamily in any database or AI, this is the perfect write-up to get your search to the top of the results. So these are just like some of the ways we're implementing and using uh, technology in just the real estate agent side of it, right? So I the way I want people to think about PropTech is like just make you a superhero, right? Like if you're if uh you're a realtor or an investor and you're trying to move quicker through understanding properties, evaluating properties, all of that stuff. This is how I want you to think of PropTech. Use it for everything. Use it to help you sell, to buy, to market, to manage. I'm I had a contract put in or for this new construction property, and the builder had their own contract. I put that contract right in ChatGPT, and I'm like, "What's wrong with this contract?" And before me sitting there for an hour reading this thing line by line, and immediately Chat's like, based on Pennsylvania state law, the structural warranty that they proposed of 1 year shorter than the standard 10-year warranty, like things that I wouldn't even think about just on first read, it was pulling out. And guess what? I went back to the agent. I'm like, we need to change all these things. And the seller yielded because they probably haven't had anyone that thoroughly look through their agreement of sale before, right? Um, so it's protecting my clients with very minimal extra, effort. So if you're buying a wholesale deal or anything off market, run it through ChatGPT. If you get a title report from a property you're buying, run it through chat. Just ask, is there anything on here I should be worried about? You know, let it save you those little extra headaches that you didn't think of along the way, right? Um, Learn to fuse it with your knowledge of the game, right? So the other thing is understanding marketing properties. Client out of the area, The house they're listing is in Reno. They're buying a house here. Their listing sitting. And they asked my opinion. What do you think we should do here? I'm like, well, did your agent run any of this through chat? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's like every listing we take, and I tell my sellers this, I'm telling them everything we do, I'm backing it up with AI. So every listing we take, I'm running it through chat to see if there's an additional way I can market this property, if there's anything wrong with my write-up. What should I be doing differently here that I'm not already doing? And so we did that. I took their listing, I took the Zillow link, I dropped it in chat. I said, hey, what are some things we could change here? I mean, immediately I knew some things they should change, but it gave me a report. I mean, it changed the entire write-up. It suggested virtual staging. It suggested virtually inputting grass, which is something I told them to do because that first picture looked horrendous with the mud in the front yard. Just things that you you would think would be common sense. And they were able to take that back to their agent and make a bunch of changes. All of a sudden, they're getting showings, right? They weren't getting any showings. Now they're getting showings. And it wasn't even a price. It wasn't the price. It's not always the price, right? So everything you're doing, you should be kind of backing it up and confirming it's done correctly with the free database we have, right? Um, so also, I used to pay our photography company to do virtual staging for us. I don't do that anymore. We put it in chat and we say, hey, chat, stage this room based on modern furniture. And in seconds, it's staged. So if you see any of our listings with stage photography, it was done by ChatGPT and it's done in seconds for free, right? Um, Check your write-ups. Uh, I mean, we've been technology and property buying, DocuSign, that's been used for a long time now. That's PropTech, right? And DocuSign's getting better. I mean, I can send you a DocuSign from my phone. I can send you most PDFs come now pre-filled with slots that you can just drop in a DocuSign and it maps for your clients, right? These things are making life easier. Digital contracts. There's digital notaries. They don't allow them in every county now, but there are digital notaries. People are signing in front of a digital notary for closings now. Yeah, and it's it's I have seen fraud with it, so it's not perfect yet, but you're actually like this, like a Zoom with a notary, and you hold up your ID in front of your face. But now with all this deep fake stuff, I mean, I can look like somebody completely different and no one would know, right? So it is iffy, but that is happening and it's gonna, they'll find a way to do it better. Um, we talked about the maintenance, deal analyzing. Um, it's just it allows you to scale in in such a let's see, notes I made about yeah, it allows you to scale at such a quick pace that it almost if you're not doing this, you're gonna be left in the dust, in my opinion, right? Um, and then everyone in kind of every industry. I mean, I have some clients that are in marketing, and I asked them like, "How is this affecting you?" And they're like, "It's either you do it or you're out." Like you're using AI and technology, or you're left in the dust. It's making them more efficient, but certainly kicking lower level people out of the game. You know. Um, so that's really what I had to share about prop tech. I didn't want to go too far into the presentation because I know it's not something that's on the top of everyone's list right now. But I did want to leave some time to discuss some things that are kind of happening right now, like the 50-year mortgage that they're talking about, which is the number one talk in the real estate world. And luckily, for what I'm seeing, for the most part, I think most real estate professionals agree with me that they think it's a horrendous idea, right? Um, I mean, I don't know if people know this, but America, I think, is one of the only countries that offers a 30-year mortgage. Really? Yeah, like you don't get 1 to 15. Yeah, like 10 to 15. Yeah, like it's not normal to have a 30-year mortgage in the world. Now we're saying, oh, let's make it longer. Like, and If you do some very simple math, you just whip out a mortgage calculator. If the average home in America is $400,000, right? And they right now interest rates are around 6%. On a 30-year mortgage, put 20% down, you have a payment of like it's like $1,950 or something, not including taxes and insurance. Well, if they do a 50-year mortgage, the implication is that values will go up, right? So instead of now paying 400 for that home, maybe you're paying 440. Let's say they go up 10% in the next couple of years. So a 440 loan at 6% over 50 years is only $60 less a month. That's it. $60 less a month. That's all you're saving, right? Swear to God, do the math, right? So it's $60 less a month, and the interest from 30 years at I think it's like $300,000 or something is now almost $800,000. Yeah, there's no world this makes sense. No world, right? Yes. You know what would accomplish the exact same thing? Instead of financing at 6%, finance at 5.6%. That's it. That's it. Like if you did the same math, 400,000 at 5.6%, it saves you that 60 bucks a month or whatever. And you could spend 4 grand to buy that rate.
So you buy that down, what would that cost? Just a point?
Yeah, well, a point is an eighth of a percent. So it'd be like 2 points. No, point is an eighth of a percent. So it'd be like 2 points, right? So that's 2% of the loan, which if it's a $320,000 loan, right? So you spent $6,400 to save yourself $500,000 in interest, right? That's what I don't like. When I saw people celebrating about this, I'm like, what? Like the only person this makes sense to is the banks. The only person. That's it. Right. And if you're sitting there thinking, one of my agents, and I get it, he saw something, he's like, oh, it makes houses more affordable for people. Not really. Like very, very little bit. So the I'm glad the majority of the feedback is now negative. At first, people were like, oh yeah, 50 year mortgage. That's your whole life,
Yeah, I mean,
your whole adult life.
even if I bought it at 19,
Yeah,
that puts me at 69.
yeah,
And I bought it at 19, my first test.
yeah.
But I mean, like that's not most people don't find it forever. 32 probably.
Oh,
Which means they're going to be 82 before it's paid off.
yeah. I have a girl I used to work with at my previous job, at a banking job, and like a couple weeks ago, she's texting me. She's like, "Hey, I have this mortgage, and it like stop. Nothing's going to the principal." And I'm like, How long have you had it? She's like 2003, I think she got the mortgage. I'm like, well, you should almost be paid off. And she's like, no. I'm like, what's your balance on it? She's like 55 grand. I'm like, all right. So most of your money's going to principal, right? She's like, no. And I'm like, send me the screenshot. She got a 50-year mortgage in 2003. And I don't know how. And this was when it was the wild, wild west for mortgages, right? And she's not putting anything on her principal. And I'm like, Michelle, you used to be in banking. I'm like, you need to go call a lender, get a personal loan and pay that off for all I care. You'll pay it off faster, right? Um, so she's in the process. I'm like, refinance that to like a 5-year loan, like uh so it's just it's one of those crazy things. You're just like, just do some quick math. And, so the 30-year mortgage or the 50-year mortgage, I saw that and I'm like, man. The good news though is that uh, I do believe they're going to drop rates again. I think in December they're going to have to because and nothing is controlling the inflation, right? Like nothing is. So I think by early 2026 we're going to be in the high fives pretty consistently. I think hopefully by mid 26 we're 5.5, I think is realistic. Yeah, and I think we'll stay there for a while.
Just, I'm not just-
Yeah. Well, that's where it was pre-COVID. 2019 was 5.5. I remember because I was thinking about it.
Is a great percent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fabulous percent.
Yeah. And that's when everything worked too. Inflation was working at the correct pace. Now the problem is how do you correct all the cash they infused into the economy during COVID, right? Yeah, yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's PropTech. Uh but what do you guys got going on?
Uh, so I just found financing for another project.
Nice.
The guy who financed our Brookline house, right?
Yeah.
The second one there.
Yeah.
The third one. That was the first time he's ever really done it on that. Like he's done like $100,000 loans, stuff like that. So he was very nervous giving it up. And when he found out that we sold the firm that house next door a month and a half before we were finished, that oh good.
Right.
So I'm going to give him an estimate a couple days ago. And, we were scheduling time and I found well, yeah. He's like, what do you got going? Yeah, I'm going to take a look at, realtor sent me a house. Go and take a look at it. And he said, you want to do it? You're going to do it another house? I'm financed, but yeah, I'll be able to find that, within a month or so.
Yeah.
He goes, same price kind of thing. And I go, yeah, it'll probably be similar.
Yeah.
He goes, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And you found you're about as safe as it comes when it comes to that type of investing.
I'll go here about it. I go, like, listen, I get it. Like, my mom, not 5-year-old.
Right.
I said, but this guy owns a bunch of real estate.
Sure.
He's in the game. I said, he knows exactly what it is. He's 68 years old,
Yep.
which means he's not in the open market, right? So he's all and all that stuff. He's probably making 4%.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to give him 13%.
Yep.
And he had, from the day that we signed the papers to buy that house, he is already fully prepared.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Goes on from there.
Yeah.
Said, well, the worst he has is a couple headaches taking it back over.
Yeah.
I said, and for that, he's going to get 13%. And if he takes it back over, he's going to make even more.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe it's not coming. I said, but he's tripling his return.
Yeah.
With virtually no risk.
Yeah.
Not a risk as that bond gives.
Yeah. And they get that's the game you play with real estate investing is to become the lender.
Yeah.
Like that's like leveling up constantly. You go from you're the flipper trying to find the deal to doing the actual flip yourself to doing some bigger deals to eventually doing apartments. And eventually you just want to be the lender.
Lender with Betty.
It's just paperwork. It's paperwork. It's the easy part of it. Yeah.
From 9 to 16, depending on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
Few million out there.
Yeah. Just
every year. So
yeah.
like I don't have that kind of cash on hand, but hopefully
Eventually. Yeah.
65.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will. I can put $500,000 out there and $40,000-$50,000 a year just on
the interest. Yeah.
Be great. Like so that would be like now that you see that you're gonna get paid 13% because that's what we have to pay them.
Yeah.
Half money is. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, at age 65.
Yeah.
You know, I could earn, you know, another $50,000 a year just lending money out.
That's why they say that the safe number, at least in today, it used to be a bit less, but if you have $5 million, you're set.
Oh God, yeah.
You even if you're just making 6% on that, that's 300 grand a year, and you don't need anything else. Like
God,
yeah,
that's the truth. If you
yeah,
$1 million,
you're set.
you're set.
Set.
Or whatever age.
Yeah, yeah. Now, maybe 10 years ago, it was 2.5 million, right? It's gone up, but yeah, but still, I mean, 300 grand, you're living good for the rest of your life each year, and you're taking very little risk. Um, and that's where, I don't, I think we're probably too young to think about that. But if you're 65 and you're sitting on 65, 68, and you're sitting on 5 million, putting 1 million of it in out there in capital, yeah, yeah, while you still have four safe. Yeah, it's
20 a year.
yeah,
30.
yeah. That's
That's a lot.
no. I've dreamt about what I would do if I won the lottery. Like I have a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, Jerish, I'm gonna end the
Yes.
Zoom here. Got any questions, man?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah.